Good news! Janelle Brown is married again. It will shock you. Sister Wives Season 19. According to a confidential source, Janelle Brown has reportedly remarried after her separation from Kody Brown. Following their split, Janelle had been facing loneliness, which can be overwhelming and difficult for anyone to cope with. However, the good news is that Janelle has found love again and is said to be very happy with her new husband. Details about her marriage are still scarce, as it seems Janelle may prefer to keep this new chapter of her life private. It's possible that she wants to protect this part of her personal life from public scrutiny. For now, not much has been revealed, but it appears that Janelle is moving forward in a positive direction and embracing her newfound happiness. We will have to wait and see what more comes to light as Janelle continues to enjoy this new phase of her life. Kody Brown, the patriarch of Sister Wives, continues to face strained relationships with his children, and there are no signs of reconciliation on the horizon. Over the years, Kody, along with his wives Meri Brown, Janelle Brown, Christine Brown, and Robyn Brown, raised 18 children within their polygamous family. At the beginning of the family's time on television, they appeared to exemplify a successful plural family. However, as time passed, their dynamic drastically changed, leading to 3 of Kody's 4 marriages falling apart in a short span. With Christine, Janelle, and Meri leaving him, Kody has seemingly allowed his relationships with their children to dissolve as well. One of the biggest catalysts for Kody's fractured relationship with his children was his perceived favoritism toward Robyn, which became glaringly obvious during the COVID-19 pandemic. During this time, Kody spent all of his time with Robyn and her children, citing concerns about the spread of the virus as the reason for his decision. His other wives and children, however, were left feeling neglected. Janelle, in particular, noted that the pandemic gave Kody the opportunity to live the monogamous life he had longed for with Robyn, abandoning his other families in the process. Kody's decision to isolate himself with Robyn created deep emotional wounds for his other children, who were left feeling abandoned by their father. Rather than trying to repair his fractured relationships, Kody perceived his children's hurt feelings as personal attacks against him. Instead of addressing their pain, he resented them for what he saw as unjust criticism. This only worsened the situation, leading Kody to cut off communication with many of his children. One of the most painful blows for Kody came when he learned that his daughter Madison was pregnant with her 3rd child. The news came as a shock to Kody, not because of the pregnancy itself, but because Maddie had not informed him about it. Kody later admitted in Sister Wives Season 18 that he no longer communicated with Maddie or her husband, Caleb Brush. He claimed that Maddie and Caleb had cut him off, further fueling his belief that his children were turning their backs on him. However, Janelle offered a different perspective on why Maddie chose to distance herself from Kody. According to Janelle, Maddie's primary reason for cutting Kody off was to protect her children. She felt that Kody's inconsistent presence in his grandchildren's lives was harmful. Kody would appear in their lives for brief moments, only to disappear again, leaving the young children confused and hurt. For Maddie, it was better to keep her children at a distance from Kody rather than allow them to bond with a grandfather who was unreliable. Janelle further emphasized that Kody's lack of involvement in Maddie's life wasn't due to any external circumstances, but rather his own unwillingness to prioritize his relationships. Despite living in Arizona, Janelle had no problem making frequent trips to North Carolina to spend time with Maddie and her family. On the other hand, Kody blamed the physical distance between himself and Maddie for his lack of engagement, particularly when Maddie moved across the country. In Sister Wives Season 19, Kody expressed frustration, questioning how he was supposed to maintain a relationship with his grandchildren when they lived so far away. Kody's complaints about the distance reveal a deeper issue: his unwillingness to put in the effort required to sustain meaningful relationships with his children and grandchildren. While Janelle was able to travel and make the necessary sacrifices to stay connected with her daughter's family, Kody seemed to view the physical separation as an insurmountable barrier. This difference in effort highlights the stark contrast between Janelle's and Kody's priorities. Janelle's dedication to maintaining a strong connection with her children and grandchildren stands in sharp contrast to Kody's detached approach. Over the years, Kody's relationships with his children have continued to deteriorate, largely due to his inability to acknowledge his role in the estrangement. Instead of taking responsibility for the emotional distance that has developed between him and his children, Kody has repeatedly deflected blame. He has portrayed himself as the victim, insisting that his children have wronged him by cutting him out of their lives. This refusal to accept accountability has only deepened the divide. For Kody's children, particularly those from his relationships with Christine and Janelle, his favoritism toward Robyn has been a constant source of tension. The children have voiced their frustration and disappointment over the years, feeling that their father has consistently prioritized his relationship with Robyn and her children at the expense of his relationships with them. These feelings of abandonment were exacerbated during the pandemic, when Kody's decision to remain exclusively with Robyn further alienated his other families. As Kody continues to navigate life after his failed marriages, the likelihood of repairing his relationships with his estranged children seems slim. His inability to acknowledge the hurt he has caused, combined with his refusal to make the necessary efforts to rebuild these connections, has left many of his children feeling disillusioned. Kody's relationships with his grandchildren have also suffered as a result of his disengagement, with Maddie being one of the most notable examples of a child who has chosen to protect her family from the emotional rollercoaster of Kody's inconsistency. At this point, Kody appears to be more focused on maintaining his relationship with Robyn than on rebuilding his connections with his other children. His complaints about Maddie's move to North Carolina and his general attitude toward the physical distance between himself and his children reflect his unwillingness to put in the effort needed to repair these bonds. While Janelle has demonstrated that distance is not an insurmountable obstacle when it comes to family, Kody continues to use it as an excuse for his lack of involvement. In conclusion, Kody Brown's estrangement from his children shows no signs of improving. His favoritism toward Robyn, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic, created deep emotional rifts that have yet to be mended. Rather than working to heal these relationships, Kody has distanced himself further, interpreting his children's hurt feelings as personal attacks. With 3 of his 4 marriages now dissolved, Kody's focus remains on his relationship with Robyn, leaving many of his children feeling abandoned and disconnected. Whether or not Kody will ever repair these relationships remains uncertain, but for now, his estrangement from his children and grandchildren continues to deepen.